What up, everybody? It's your man Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fattie, coming with another podcast episode of What's Up Omaha. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I'm just going to go over some general updates as I do from time to time when I don't have a guest. The first being the wrap up. So if you haven't seen, my podcast is recorded, not recorded. I record it through Zoom most times, but then it's distributed via Anchor and Spotify. So initially, I started my podcast on Anchor with just audio, and then they had an option where you could upload that through your computer or through your phone. So I would do that on the audio side, and then you could actually also take video and strip the audio from the video to make it into a podcast. So I started doing that. But yes, Anchor, I mentioned it in the past. Anchor was bought out by Spotify. So through Spotify, at the end of each year, they send out a wrap up. If you have Spotify, you probably have seen this, but it tells you who you've listened to the most and what songs you've listened to the most on the receiving side. But on the creation side, they also give you that as well. And it tells you how many podcasts you made, how many hours of podcasting you've made. And then it also tells you what percentage change there has been. So in 2021, there has been a 61% increase into the listens of the podcast. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It continues to grow. I hope that means that I'm doing something right and people are enjoying the content. So as I often do, thank you guys so much. I'm just going to keep going along, and we have one podcast every week. And the goal at one point was to try to do 2 a week. And I just don't have a ton of extra time to do that. Like, now that I'm training Jiu-Jitsu again, and, my daughter is wrestling right now, we don't have a lot of time. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. And I don't do this often. I'll do it here and there. People want to support this, the podcast. If you want to support Small Guy Promotions Omaha Fattie, if you enjoy the podcast and you'd like to be a financial supporter of the podcast, you can do so. I'll make sure to put the link down below. There'll also be the link in the comment or in the details section of the podcast. But for as little as 99 cents a month, you can be a supporter, a financial supporter of the What's Up Omaha podcast. It's like a little subscription or membership, but there's 99 cents a month. There's a $4.99 a month, and then I think $9.99 a month. I'm not sure why I'm having trouble talking today, but those are the options that are available. And you just sign up, and it automatically comes out every month, and then it goes into my podcast bank. And yeah, that's what it is. So speaking of that, shout out to Ryan Burden. He's been a supporter for, I don't know, it's been at least a year, I think. So thank you, Ryan, for always, tuning in and being one of the guys who supports. And I hope we get to hang out again soon, man. We went to dinner a few months back, but we need to go out again and eat some good food. Man, what else has been going on? Last week was my first jiu-jitsu tournament since returning back to jiu-jitsu. It was a team battle, which, I mean, I'm not usually putting pressure on myself anyway, because there's nothing really big on the line. It's not like I'm going to be making any money, or, I'm not winning any championships or anything like that. So it was a cool way to be reintroduced to the competition world. The only place that I don't usually wear a mask is during jiu-jitsu. So being in an arena with a bunch of people and not having a mask on was kind of like at the beginning. But most of the people weren't right by us. There was a wrestling tournament and our jiu-jitsu tournament that was going on, but the wrestling people were all on a different side, and we weren't in close proximity to a lot of the people. But yeah, so just going into like an environment like that for me though, I was kind of like, not really. I wasn't really worried about it, but it was just different. When you usually wear a mask, I still wear a mask to the grocery store or wherever. It was just different. It was kind of nice too. I'm not gonna lie. uh, but yeah, competed the first time and did okay. You know, you always want more from yourself, and the way the team battles work are, you know, you get 6 minutes to go against someone unless there's a 25-pound difference, and I think you get 4 minutes if there is, which I don't think they were really paying attention to that because I think I was more than 25 pounds more than my last competitor. I don't know about my first one, but yeah, I weighed in at like 227, so I don't think those guys are 200 pounds, and we still went 6 minutes. So, but yeah, the first one, well, actually, the lineup that we did, I was the first one for each match that we had. We had 2 matches. My first one, it went the distance, so we both pretty much are like disqualified because neither one of us got a submission. It was an okay match. I didn't feel, I don't know. I sometimes you just gotta get up and go, and I didn't feel like I had that really to start the match off. And like in my mind, I was like, take a shot, but the guy was like smaller than me, and you know, I figured he was probably a little quicker, so I didn't want to waste too much energy taking a shot. And I just ended up sitting down after we stood up for a little bit on our feet, and it wasn't going anywhere. And I'm totally cool with being on the bottom, so I worked from there. Unfortunately, the way that it worked out was I didn't get to a good spot to where our scrambles got me on top. I was able to sweep him, but he was on topper and kind of like a side control quarter guard type thing for most of the round. We had some good scrambles to where you know, there's one part where I almost got him into guard, but I'm not a guard player because my legs are short. So yeah, I didn't even try to lock that up or anything. Then we had to reset, and then I think there was about 1:40 left, and we were back in the center of the mat. And you know, I was working my double unders, trying to get my lockdown to sweep him over, and I finally got it. And there was only like 40 seconds left, so short time to work with, and I didn't get the submission. He actually was able to shrimp and bridge a little bit, so we ended in like I stepped over his leg, and then he tried to go for a Kimura. It was like 5 seconds left. Uh, that's where we ended. But it was a good match. It was a great reintroduction to the competition world. I don't know if I'll be doing it again. I wasn't planning on doing it. I filled in for my team, so they didn't miss out. Like I wanted to make sure that my guys were able to participate because they wanted to. So that's what I did. I put it out there for them. Then, you know, our anchor, Jesse and Rodney were my teammates, and Jesse went out there and he battled for a couple of minutes, got submitted. Then Rodney went out and he finished the last 2 guys, so we won our first round. And then the second round, we were going for first place because we won our first match. There were 4 teams, and the team that won, they were some good guys, some Axios guys, big guys, strong guys, and one guy was like a champion in judo. So we went out, and I knew the guy that I was going against first was going to be a tough guy, and he was, and he was attacking, and I was defending, and then I left myself open. He got me in a Kimura, a key lock, and I thought I was safe because I had circled around his head, and then I didn't circle enough, and he was able to use the Kimura to flip me over. And my shoulder's been bugging me anyway, so I didn't last too much once I was on my back and he had the Kimura. So I tapped, but it was a great match. It was fun. Man, I don't even know what to say. There's just something about competing when you enjoy jiu-jitsu. Like I don't have any high expectations. I just want to go out there and have fun. We do jiu-jitsu all the time, so win or lose, like of course you want to win, but like I'm not going to be heartbroken if I lose, but I'm just going to one of the things that I do, I dwell on stuff a little bit, like, oh, I could have did this more. Like I replay it in my head. I should have did this. I could have done that. But hey, overall, it was fine. It was good. We got to meet some new people in the jiu-jitsu community. We had a good time. We got to see some of our old friends, from Kansas City who came up from 10 Planet. So it was all good, man. We got second place. After I got tapped that first one, Jesse battled again. He got tapped. And then Rodney stepped in. He tapped the first guy. And then his second match in that second round, it was the bigger guy from Axios, who was the judo guy. And he ended up catching Rodney. So we got second place. That's all right. It was a good time. Again, it was just for fun. So that's what it is. Outside of that, man, you guys know things have been going great. But check this out. I'm still working from home. I got a big window in the front of the house. So I'm able to see out as I'm working during the course of my day. And I see the mail truck pull up and the mail lady, Terry, jumps out and she brings a box to our front door. And I'm not expecting any packages. I assume that my wife ordered something because she had just got something the day before in the mail. But check this out. I go and I open the door and I was so surprised to see this. Only thing about having this background is hard to see stuff sometimes, so I apologize. You can't really see it. Maybe if you can kind of see it. Grippos. There we go. A big old box, 24 pack of Grippos, potato chips. And I'm like, man, who sent me potato chips? I thought it was my wife. I'm texting her. No, actually, I called her. I said, hey, did you send me some potato chips? She's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, are you lying to me? Because it sounds like you're lying. She's like, no, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. So then I thought it was my brother. I texted my brother. I'm like, hey, man, you sent me some potato chips. He's like, I tried you 6 months ago, but Amazon told me that the order was canceled. So I don't think it was me. And I'm like, dude, who sent me these potato chips? And if you happen to not know, Grippo's potato chips. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. To make it a little easier to see. So growing up, we used to have these potato chips, like my favorite potato chips. These and Mike Sells were the favorite potato chips. And you can't get these in Omaha. I've never seen Grippo's in Omaha. Well, I've seen at like Big Lots, they have Grippo's brand snacks, but not these potato chips. I think they've had like pretzels and stuff. But these potato chips, they're spicy. Sometimes they're a little too hot. Like they oh man, my stomach is like, oh bro, don't eat those. But I love these potato chips. So I was like, who sent me these potato chips? The next day comes and then I get a text from my cousin and he's asking my address. And I don't know why he's asking my address, but I give him my address and I was like, I don't know which one you have, but this is the address that we're at now. And he goes, you should have got a package yesterday. And I'm like, yo, Rodney, it was you that sent these potato chips. And yeah, we had talked like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I can't remember when we went back to Ohio last, but we had talked about them sending us some potato chips sometime. And he sent those. So shout out to Rodney. Thank you, brother. I love you. I appreciate the potato chips. I was so happy. It made my day, man. I was like, man, and I got 24 bags, so I can make these last. Though I did eat 2 the first time when I popped, or my wife really wanted some, so she popped them open first. She got the first bag, but I had some Friday night. I had 2 bags because I was like, man, I hadn't eaten like well anyway, and I hadn't eaten a lot. These are only what? Oh, 140 calories per bag. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Oh, see, I was confused. Okay, so 140 calories per serving, but it's 1.5 servings per container. So it's actually 210 calories per bag. So I had 2 bags, 420 calories. But whatever, I didn't even, man, let me tell you. Switching from this, but going into why I didn't eat well and whatnot. My daughter had a wrestling competition on Friday out in Fremont, and it was supposed to start at 1:30. So I got off of work at 12. Well, I didn't actually shut down until like 12:15. And we thought it was only going until 7. So we didn't get out. Since I didn't get out until 12:15, I should have been out at 12. We didn't get to really eat anything. I don't eat until noon usually. So I didn't have like any fruit or veggies during the course of the day. And then when we got to the tournament, you know, there's not a lot of options. They don't usually have healthy options. So uh, I don't know. I had a slice of pizza, and then later on, it wasn't horrible as far as what I was eating, but there was just nothing like healthy. But I had a slice of pizza, pepperoni pizza, and then they had these pork chops that I got talked into later by the young lady at the concession stand. She's like, if you're hungry at all, like I recommend the pork chop. They're really good, and they're running out. There's not a lot left. So I was like, all right, cool. So I got one. They come out on a stick, a big skewer, and it was actually pretty good. It wasn't bad. It was only $3. So, but yeah, that was what I had eaten for the day. Like there was, nothing else. So I was like, whatever. I'm gonna eat 2 bags of potato chips. I don't care. But yeah, so that's what was going on there. That tournament was long, guys. Like I don't know how wrestling parents do it. Like if this was just the first tournament of the season, and I don't know, it was just such a long tournament. Like I was mentally drained by the end because I had plans for dinner because I thought we were going to be done at around 7, and we were going to go to Golden Bowl when we got back to town, and we didn't have time. So I was fairly disappointed, and mentally I was just like, dude, I'm done. Like you go and you're there for 7 hours or however long, and you're only actually watching like X amount of time. So luckily my daughter's team has grown from last year. Last year they only had 4 girls. This year they have 15, and I believe they said 14 were there at the tournament, and there were 8 girls that got to compete. They did pretty well. They didn't win. They got in 4th place, but that's because one of the other, like a couple of the other schools have like a ton of girls, and then they wrestle against each other. So the way that wrestling works out is you get points when you win. So they were going against each other in some of the matches. So of course they were getting points. But that's just the way it works. I don't really understand wrestling that well that type of stuff doesn't make sense. And the 7 hours doesn't make sense either. Like the boys and the girls were competing. It wasn't like just a girls competition. So that is part of the reason why it went so long. And it's frustrating for me that it takes so long because I'm just like, I'm not being productive this time. And I'm not even watching for most of the time, like the people that we've come to watch. So it's just kind of tough for me. I'm not used to that. I was like, man, am I a bad parent? Because I'm so annoyed right now. But I can only imagine how it is for the athletes and the coaches and whatnot and the referees. At least the referees, I think, maybe getting paid a little bit or something. I don't know. But yeah, I was talking to my wife, and she's like, you're just thinking of it from your perspective and how inconvenient it is for you. But I'm sure whoever organizes these tournaments is trying to do the best that they can. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I guess it would be kind of tough to try to book a whole separate day or time slot for, for them to have 2 separate tournaments, one for the girls and one for the boys. And then maybe finding the referees to be able to be available for that extra time too. I don't know. I just know it was a long day, and by the end of it, I was just done with the day, and I was just ready to go home and like just eat and just relax because I was annoyed as far as the time goes. But outside of that, it was great. Like I do enjoy watching wrestling, and it's just a lot of wrestling, like a lot of wrestling. But man, shout out to the Monarch coaches and the Monarch athletes. Shout out to all the athletes and coaches, actually, except for the one coach that I saw in the restroom who walked out of the restroom without washing his hands. And I'm like, I hope he's not one of the coaches that are shaking people's hands at the end of the matches, because he certainly didn't. I don't know if he touched his pee-pee, but I know he didn't wash his hands when he walked out. So Yeah, shout out to everybody except that coach. I don't even know what school he was a coach of, but shout out to all the athletes, man, out there grinding. Wrestling is a tough sport, and wrestlers are they're just built different. They're built differently. They're not. I don't know, man. They're tough people, man. Wrestlers are tough. And like I know I do jiu-jitsu, but wrestlers are a different breed, man. So shout out to all those folks. Man, the girls got fourth place again. They did well though. There was a lot of good matches. Even some of the ones that they lost, they were still good matches. They were competitive more often than not. You know, my daughter was happy. It was crazy because she was the number one seed for the tournament because she was the only one that had experience going to state last year in her weight bracket. So um, shout out to Jamila. She got first place. She had 3 matches and she won all of them fairly quickly. I think she was at total time 1 minute and 51 seconds for the 3 matches. That's total. So like the first match I think was like 10 or 11 seconds, and I don't even know about the second match, but they had some fast ones. And Emma, her teammate, Emma's a beast too. She finished like one of her matches in like 5 or 6 seconds. It was crazy. It was so fast. So it's definitely cool to see these girls go out there and compete. And it's I know they enjoy it, and that camaraderie and that community is huge. So though I'm annoyed by the time that it takes for wrestling tournaments, I was happy to be there. So yeah, man, that was great, and my daughter was really happy. She got a little medal and whatnot, and yeah, man, it was just cool. It was great to see, and her growth, and just the way that the coaches talk about her, and uh, helping other teammates and whatnot. And I don't know, man. She's just I don't even know what to say, man. Yes, I'm proud of my daughter, and she had this dope fireman's carry that was like really cool, and I was like, oh dang, all right, I see you, Mimi. Okay. So shout out to my daughter, man. Shout out to all the Monarch girls for getting out there and putting it on the line. That's great. That's great. Man, what else? The Omaha Fattie meet and greet went down Saturday at Grecian Euros. We had a small crowd that came out, like nothing huge. It was more than I expected. I was like, nobody wants to come out and meet Omaha Fattie, like, you know, like seriously. Um, but yeah, we had a nice little crowd of people that came out, man. It was really cool, and man, I'm just grateful for anyone who thinks highly enough of me to want to come out and visit and take a picture or whatever. Again, we did this as a trial just to see if people were really interested, because the only reason we did it was because people were reaching out and they said that they wanted to meet me. And Tanya, you know, I talked about her in the last podcast, but she was the one that messaged and said, hey, you know, have you ever thought about having a night where people will know where you'll be at and they can come out to meet you? And I was like, no, just because I didn't think that that was something that people would want to do. But she came out, brought her family, her husband, her kids, and she was really excited. And you know, we took pictures and we put them in the raffle to get a $25 gift certificate to Grecian Euros. And it was just cool, man. Shout out to Leanne for coming out, Shad Bailey. Man, it was just Julie from the tea shop, you know, the previous owner of the tea shop. Her and Ben came out. Uh, it was, I got to look, man, I'm really like, I'm so grateful for these people who took the time to come out. Like, it was cool. Um, yeah, I have some young fans. I'm like, I'm thinking that all the people who support Omaha Fattie are, you know, at least 30. But I had some younger ladies come out, Megan and Anna, they're friends, and uh, Anna works part-time at Grecian Euros, and her and Megan went over to Small Cakes and got some goodies, and Anna gave me a cake pop. And I was like seriously, for me? Well, first, I thought that they were just there because Anna worked at Grecian Euros. I didn't know that they came out to see me. Megan had waved and said hello when she came in. I said hello, but I heard Anna talking about working at Grecian, so that's why I thought they were there for Grecian. And then as we talked later when they came back over, they said, "No, we're here to see you. We follow you on Facebook." And I was like, "What?" And then Anna gave me the cake pop. She's like, "I got this for you." And I was like, "Seriously? Like, you really brought me a cake?" Okay, thank you. I made it. That's all it took. Man, listen, I don't even know. So shout out to Megan and Anna. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for coming out. And Megan, I'm glad that you and your family were able to try that Hunan Garden or Hunan Palace, and that you guys enjoyed it. That's always the biggest compliment when I mention a place and someone goes there and they have a good experience. So I'm glad that worked out for you and your family. Man, busy, busy, busy. The last thing not for the weekend, but for after the meet and greet, went down to Plattsmouth. So you guys can find video of this. I went live to do the drawing from Grecian Euros. After the meet and greet, we went down to Plattsmouth to support Quirky Candies again. They have the freeze-dried candies. And then also Riot Creations by Ricki. So those three, Ricki, Rick, and Gina, Gina and Rick are husband and wife, and Ricki is their daughter, and they've done business together before in the past. So what they have now is a store. Ricki, she has been making like bath bombs and soaps and just artistic stuff for a while. She's doing the cups with the designs on them, t-shirts, all that sort of thing. But they've rented out this location in Plattsmouth on Main Street. Ricki's stuff is in the front. Riot Creations are in the front. And then in the back, you have the Quirky Candies. But it's great to see families working together like that. I support. But we go way back years. They participated in the small business, like when I was doing craft shows and small business expos. They were participating, and that's how we became to be friends. And over the years, we've gone out, and they were a part of the foodie group. They had come out to eat at some of the outings that we would do. And I don't know how many, I think at least 2-3 different events they participated in. And we just became friends. And I went out and supported them when they were at 80 Snack Shack. Well, when Ricki when she first kicked off her Riot Creations, we were out there to support. And so I wanted to make sure to go out and support them yesterday at their grand opening. Once again, they're down in Plattsmouth on Main Street. And I don't go down to Plattsmouth often. I've probably only been down there once in the last year, 2 years. I don't even know. So it was cool to go down there. And I'm like, it's nice. There was a lot going on. They had their Christmas stuff going on. We saw the Grinch. Santa Claus was out there. They had hay rack rides. The trolleys were out going back and forth. They had like tours going on where they had people dressed up this Victorian thing. So they were dressed up, and they had their little earpieces in with microphones, and they were just giving tours as they walked along Main Street. So that was pretty cool. And it was a fun time. We got a bunch of candy, way more than I need, but that's what it is. We also got, my daughter doesn't listen. My youngest doesn't listen or watch the podcast. So I'm free to say that we got her a unicorn soap. And then the cool thing about what Ricki is doing is not only does she sell the soaps, but they go in this it's like a little pouch type thing. And it's like a soap saver, but they don't have to take the soap out of the pouch to wash. They just wet it, and the one side of the pouch they use to wash. And they have different themes on them, and we got a Harry Potter theme. So we got my daughter a unicorn soap and a Harry Potter pouch or soap saver to put it in. So she'll be happy with that. That'll be for Christmas. But yeah, man, I was happy to go out there and support. people came out there too. When we first walked in, they were telling us that people came down because they thought that I was going to be there. So they were giving me like a shout out while they were there. Like, yeah, we were here to see Omaha Fattie or Danelle. Some were friends and some were people. I don't even know who it was. And I'm not talking about like one or two people. They're saying like 10 different groups of people came down. And I'm like, you guys are lying. Like, no way. Like, I don't even know a lot of people in Plattsmouth. Like, I know Chris, who he was one that went down. Chris from my full-time job. He's on my team. He lives down in Plattsmouth. We were talking about it. He said that he would try to stop in. And then Eva, our old neighbors from when I used to live with my parents, her and her husband and family moved down to Plattsmouth. And I don't know who else there would have been that went down there because I mentioned or shared their event. I have no idea. And I was not expecting that at all. And I didn't know people thought that I would be down there. So I apologize. I went live from there last night and apologized for anyone who had came out that thought that I might be there. And I'm sorry. I didn't know. I just said that I was going to go. I told them that I would go there after I did my meet and greet, but there was no like official thing where like, hey, come down to this grand opening and see me. So I'm sorry, guys. We'll make sure to have something in the future where people can come out and meet me again, I guess, because it seems that people still do want to meet me. Everybody couldn't make it out yesterday, of course, and that's understandable and okay. Christmas season, people are going to Christmas parties, whatever. It's all good, man. There'll be opportunities. I think we're going to wait until 2022 and we'll see what that brings. But yeah, man, that's what it is. That is what it is. And I think I probably talked long enough today. I don't know how long you guys tune in, but there was a lot to cover this weekend. Man, a lot of content right there. A lot of events going on, a lot of stuff. You know, I didn't even really talk too much about Golden Bowl opening back up, but we'll save that for next week or something, or whenever after I actually get to eat there again. So shout out to Golden Bowl though for being back open. They had a great week and people were waiting in line. So Golden Bowl, John, Michael, sorry. Shout out to you guys. I'll see you guys soon, like today. Today I'm getting some Golden Bowl. That's what it is, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for supporting through this whole year. Again, an increase of 61% in listens and listeners. I appreciate you guys so much. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening at, whether it's on Spotify, Podbean, Google, Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe and, you know, just keep tuning in. I appreciate it so much. Also on YouTube, make sure to check out the What's Up Omaha Small Guy Promotions. You know, it's under Small Guy Promotions, but you can search for What's Up Omaha and it'll come up just the same. And you could subscribe there and hit the bell notification. So whenever new content comes out, you get notified and you can see it right away. That's what it is, man. Smile, help someone else smile, laugh, and help someone else laugh all day, every day. That's what it is, y'all. Have a wonderful day. Talk to y'all soon. Peace out. Yeah.